so much fucked up shit to get into.
Little Stinkers.
Welcome back to Little Stinkers, baby. I am Michael fucking Rainey here with Cowdon Jala.
Hey, Mike. Hey, everybody.
Jacob Furman Mattera.
Hey.
Jeff Simmons. Welcome back, guys.
How are you, pal?
I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be here with you guys.
Me too.
Having a really good week. Going through withdrawal. I haven't had, this is the first day in forever, I haven't had a hoagie, pizza, hot dogs, or sweet treats.
You haven't had one of those things, or you've been eating all four of those things every day?
A combination of those things almost every day for as long as I can remember.
You've been having a hoagie at least once a week for years?
Multiple. I don't know about years, but in recent memory.
Wait, hold up. Are you casting judgment right now?
No. With the fucking Arby's bag with...
I told you, if you're nice, you can have one of those mozzarella sticks. But
I'm not going to, though.
You're being a good boy.
I am. I appreciate the offer.
So
though.
you can just be a fucking absolute dickhead to me tonight.
He's going to make you eat out of zipper. Just say.
You can watch me suck the breading off of it if you want.
That'll be good. I'd like to smell your mouth when you're done.
Oh, my God.
Jake, how things going for you,
Oh,
pal?
man. I'm just, eating everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm loving life. Just waiting for this, waiting for it to go by. Yeah.
I pigged the fuck out yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, I went back to the Colonel. Thank you for your service.
Oh, God. I
Got a
haven't had that
$20
so
fill-up
long.
box.
Swollen
That
dollar.
extra
What's a fill-up
crispy
box?
Oh, buddy, what isn't a fill-up box? You get 4 pieces of fried chicken of your choice. I got extra crispy. Jesus Christ, I forgot how good that stuff was. You get 12 nuggets. You get 2 orders of fries, 4 biscuits for $20.
Marron.
I picked the wrong time to quit, man.
I didn't say I was doing it every day. I'm going to have to get one of those She's Gone boxes tomorrow. That sounds too delicious.
Yeah, did you have 2 She's Gone boxes? No, I just ordered 1. Must be the guy behind me.
It was her and her sister. Boys, we're trying something a little bit different tonight.
All right.
So normally, I'll pick a stinker that's already stunk it up, has been adjudicated. The story's already laid out. However, this one, we're doing a Snickers episode on an event that's currently unfolding.
Oh.
If you're so lucky.
An alleged little stinker.
We're going to get there.
All right.
Yeah, you think?
I will swallow that fucking coin if I have to because I want to talk about this so bad tonight.
Oh, look at this. You guys ever see something like this? You know what we need to do? Drill a little hole, put a pump on there, plump up my nuts.
Mr. Powers? 1 penis pump.
That sort of thing's not my bag, baby.
If it
One
makes you feel good-
instructional manual that reads, penis pumps and you. This is my bag, baby. Here we go. We're talking about the impractical jokers. Not tonight,
No, the
I
fuck
guess.
we not.
Woo!
But I'm still going to try to pump my penis up.
Leave it. Do you want some tape?
No, I'll fill it up.
You're looking like Rudolph right now.
That ain't my nose, Jake.
Looking like a little snout.
Jolt on our hands. Little tuna can.
All right, you
John,
win.
Jake, how familiar are you guys with the Long Island serial killer?
This is Gilgo Beach, fella.
It is.
I'm
It's fun to say, isn't it?
Gilgo Beach.
Gilgo.
The Gilgo Beach. Yeah, unfortunately, it was a massive tragedy.
Two-headed Gilgo
At
Beach.
the Gilgo Beach murders. I'm a little bit
13-inch black
familiar.
Gilgo Beach.
I know some stuff.
I say I know nothing besides the fact that somebody posted a picture of him and Peter Griffin next to each other.
Yes,
That's all I know.
The suspect that they arrested looks so much like Peter Griffin, so much so that his employees refer to him as Peter Griffin,
Dude.
which has got to be devastating.
For years they have
Yeah.
been behind his back.
Oh, dude,
What
Family
drove
Guy's
him to
been
murder?
cooking for almost 2 decades now.
Yeah.
Actually, probably over 2 decades.
Since
1999.
2099 at the
Yeah.
Super Bowl premiered. I remember.
Yeah.
Boys, the more I learn about this, and
Yeah.
there's new information coming out every day, the more it scares me.
Jesus.
I don't rattle easily, Jake.
Is he like an old-timey serial killer?
Dude,
What's he doing?
Let's get him to explain what he means by that.
Yes, okay.
Let's get welcome to Jake's Corner. We're going to focus on Jake. What do you mean old timey?
Old-timey? I mean like the classics. Find, torture, kill.
old-timey, like, goodbye, my baby.
Yeah, we talking WB frogs?
Yeah, then the wife comes home and he's just...
All right, and we are done with Jake's Corner. Back to the episode.
What's that? Jake's Corner
like
has
that,
been
though.
canceled. Already, they chose not to renew it.
And it already lasted longer than the Mike O'Malley show.
Jake, I want more of Jake's Corner.
Oh, man.
So if we're going to have Jake's Timeout Corner right now, let's please bring back Jake's Corner in a little bit.
You got it.
Deal? Dude, all right. The reason why this scares the shit out of me, because I don't think it's as cut and dried as one guy killing a bunch of ladies.
Yeah, I think we spoke briefly about this last week, and it kind of points to potential one or more other people.
Yeah, dude, and there in this area on Long Island, there have been numerous murders of sex workers since dating back to like the late 90s, where ones could have possibly been connected. I don't know. There's a guy who goes by his moniker was the Manorville Butcher. He was already convicted of two killings, killing 2 sex workers, not far from where all these victims were found. On Gilgo Beach, there were 11 victims that were found
Oh, wow.
over a span of time.
Okay.
All right, so
Just one morning. Jesus Christ.
just a very unlucky dog.
Yeah. Wait, so you think this guy is like the fall guy for like a sex secret society?
I don't think he's a fall guy. I think he definitely he is definitely one of them.
Okay.
But to me, it seems like there's more and more people involved. There was a police cover-up at some point,
Whoa.
including the police chief and the district attorney. And
Are they under the fucking gun right now over this?
They both been a few years ago. They were both fired and they both went to prison.
Oh shit! Unrelated to this.
Probably related.
Oh my!
At the time,
God.
I don't think they realized it may have been related, or they just didn't want it to be related.
All
Dude,
right.
it is fuck.
Yeah, I can't wait for you.
Guy's
to...
rich, so he kind of paid him off kind of thing.
There's a lot of wealthy people involved, which makes it even scarier. But this comes off like a True Detective fucking season.
Whoa.
It's scary
Jeez,
stuff.
I know nothing about this.
Jake, you've already got your pants off, so I can't knock
I'm
those
sorry.
off, but I am going to knock your socks off. That's my goal.
Wait,
These are
this is the position to knock his pants off.
these are compression socks, Mike.
They go all the way up to your penis.
He's wearing a compression condom, too. I wear baggy ones. I have no choice. Did you ever just try on a condom just to see if it fits?
Everyone.
Yeah, it's always a game of a guessing test. I guess that was the first time I did it. Yeah.
Were you
Sure,
worried
I
at
could
all?
Was I worried?
Yeah.
That I wasn't going to fill up?
Yeah.
I'm sure it didn't, because it's hard to,
Be
be
a man.
fully erect
Wait.
and be putting in your childhood bedroom. But I was like, all right, I can figure this out when game time goes down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2-minute drill. You were practicing.
Yeah,
Blow
exactly.
the whistle.
This motherfucker thinks I last 2 minutes. You fucking wishful thinking.
So, Jake, you know nothing about this case.
Yeah,
All
nothing.
I'm going to start off May 1st, 2010. There's an escort who comes out of Manhattan. She gets called. Her driver takes a call. So you know how escorts work. There's normally a driver / security / chauffeur.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain this to Jake, I'm sure.
All right.
I actually, yeah.
No, you can.
Yeah, yeah.
So a man accompanies them to the John's house, and he handles all the money, all the logistics.
Yeah.
They do their business, and they get a cut of that. I don't know what the standard cut is. However, they make out pretty well. May 1st, 2010, there are 3 911 calls that come from this gated community on Long Island, which is a few minutes away from Gilgo Beach.
Okay.
Okay? It's called the Oak Beach Association. 3 phone calls come in. The 911 calls were released a couple years back. They're fucking terrifying. They might be the scariest 911 calls I've ever heard. So the way the calls play out is one of the women, Shannon Gilbert, she's an escort. You hear her talking, and she's saying to the 911 operator, I need help. They're going to kill me.
They.
Right. They
Whoa.
specifically. And she keeps saying, I need help. And the 911 operator is asking her, where are you? She's like, I don't know. I'm in a house. She has no idea where she is. At a certain point, you hear a couple men come into the room, and they're trying to convince her to go outside. And she's telling them, she's like, I know what's happening. Why are you going to kill me? They're just like, come outside, come outside. We just need you to come outside. And at this point, you don't know whether she's freaking out for some other reason or if she's legitimately aware that something very fucked up is about to happen to her.
Yeah.
She makes 3 separate 911 calls. Eventually, she runs out of the house screaming while she's on the phone. And you hear this. And she starts banging on doors in this gated community. And she makes it to 2 separate houses. And one is an older guy and one is an older lady. And both of those people, they end up calling the police. So they place separate 911 calls.
Okay.
All right. So I'm giving you that background.
This lady's alive.
No.
They found her body?
She dies that night. Yeah.
What?
So the reason why they ended up finding the Gilgo Beach victims is because they were looking for this woman. She disappeared that night. Nobody knew what happened to her. They had no idea. And she calls 911. The 2 separate homeowners call 911. The one guy whose house she knocked up at, he gave a statement saying that he saw a black SUV looking for her. Now, the black SUV belonged to her
Driver?
bodyguard,
Okay.
a guy named Michael Pack. She was going to a John's house. Michael Pack drove her to the John's house of a guy named Joseph Brewer in this Oak Beach association.
Okay, so this is not the suspect in custody's house that she was at that night.
Right. Yeah.
Is it his neighborhood? Does he live in the same gated community?
He lives, I think it's a 25-minute drive.
Okay. So
the guy that's ultimately
enough.
arrested for the Gilgo Beach murders lives 25 minutes away.
Yeah.
Does he have like an escort scanner that he's listening to and he knows where they're going, or?
No, all of these chicks were found on Craigslist.
Okay. And he's calling them to their house, like to the rich person's house in the gated community, and he's just showing up.
In some cases,
Okay.
yeah. In some cases.
Jesus.
Okay, so how is that guy whose house it is not under arrest
Dude,
yet?
this is where it gets really
Money?
fucking weird. So before I go further into the other victims, I want to tell you more about that development and the people that live there. So Joseph Brewer is the John whose house they arrived at, and he was the guy who called for the prostitute. Shannon Gilbert goes missing, and shortly after Shannon Gilbert goes missing, a doctor who also lives in the development. Okay, this is going to get really fucking weird. So there's a doctor.
Dude, I don't like this.
Dude,
Yeah, this is like the creepiest
it is so...
thing that
Like the
I've...
whole neighborhood's in on it kind of thing.
Dude, there's a doctor who lives a few blocks away. He ends up calling Shannon Gilbert's mother, and he says, my name is Dr. So-and-so. Fuck, I wish I could remember his name. I don't right now. But he says, I run a home for wayward girls, and Shannon came here a couple nights ago. I just want to make sure that she got home okay. And her mom's like, she didn't come home okay. What the fuck is going on? The guy hangs up.
He hangs up.
He hangs up, and he also tells her that he treated her. Now, when you listen to the 911 calls, it does sound like somebody... She sounds like somebody who might be under the influence of something. It sounds like somebody's losing consciousness, and they're realizing what's happening to them, but at the same time, they're being overtaken by whatever they've been given.
Yeah.
So just put that in your cap and store that away, Jake.
Oh, it's stored away.
All right. Now, Oak Beach, where this happens, is 7 miles from Gilgo Beach.
All right, that's kind of far.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's a few minutes drive from there.
Okay.
So, in December of 2010, police are looking for Shannon Gilbert, and that's when they start to find all the other victims on Gilgo Beach.
Okay. Is this beach like a rock beach that people aren't suntanning on or something? Like, how can there go
Yeah, I know what you
24 hours without, like, these bodies being found?
All right. The way it looks, all right, on one side is the bay, and
They
on
all
the
had
other side...
sunglasses on them.
Jake,
I'm sorry. This
it's so bad.
I don't mean it. I'm sorry for everyone.
I don't
So
understand the
bad.
reference, and we don't have time to go back to Jake's
Like a
corner
weekend
right
at
now.
Bernie's. Okay, you're right. Back to timeout corner.
Maybe at like the 20-minute mark, let's make that Jake's corner.
Yeah.
Does that work?
And remember, put that in your
I don't-
fucking cap, too.
I
or
don't like
whatever.
this quarter.
All right. So in December 11th, 2010, they're looking for Shannon Gilbert's body. they stumble across 4 other victims on
Jesus.
Gilgo Beach.
4 at once
4 other victims.
of varying death dates.
Yes. But not far apart.
Yeah.
So the bodies, they're all decomposing at different rates. And most of the victims are young sex workers in their early 20s that are also petite. So there's clearly a type for whoever's doing this. However, there's so many different bodies and remains found. Some of the victims that are found, they're strangled. That's their cause of death, Jake. Other ones, there's body parts found.
Jesus.
And they're found in this this marshland. So right now there's like a bike path along where the marshland is.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
but you could easily just pull your car over. Before that was there, you could easily just pull your car over, take a body out, put it in there. Nobody would probably find it. But considering that somebody had gone missing there back in May,
And it was getting combed over.
right, it seems like that would be one of the places where you check because people saw Shannon Gilbert running
Right.
around this area. Now, granted, she was found much further away from the other victims, but each of these other victims that's found on Gilgo Beach, they're found within tenths of a mile of each other.
So is there no information about how or when she left that guy's house who she called 911 from?
No, like
Yeah, I wonder if there's like cell phone records, like, pinging the location or anything like that.
cell phone records do play a lot into how the suspect was caught,
Okay.
but there's a lot of confusion in regards to Shannon Gilbert's death still. It feels like a massive cover-up.
So there's a lot of people being questioned, I can imagine, from this neighborhood, right?
There are, but no charges ever come about. The guy that I mentioned, the John Joseph Brewer, whose house Shannon Gilbert went to that night,
Yeah.
he is on the board of the homeowners association in this gated community.
Oh, no.
There's cameras everywhere. He ends up deleting all the footage off of these
Wait,
cameras.
what?
I mean, how is he not in jail?
That's obstruction
right
of
now,
justice.
dude?
And on top of that, too, how does the fucking doctor who called her mother...
Yeah.
That doctor initially denied contacting her mother, but then they were able to subpoena the phone records, and clearly he called her.
Wow.
He's like, oh, yeah, actually, I did call her, but I didn't say any of that stuff that she thinks I said. There's footage of a news crew confronting this doctor when he's leaving a courthouse, and he fakes a heart attack to get them to leave him alone.
All right. That's a pretty awesome move, honestly.
That's, yeah.
Unfortunately, that guy did make the coolest fucking decision right then.
Dude, in this video,
Oh, fuck. Fuck. It's just gas.
dude, in this video, the fucking guy who's following him, he's like, did you have anything to do with the disappearance of any of the girls? And he's like, no, I did not. And he gets to his car. The guy keeps pressing him. He throws his jacket in the back of the car, and then he collapses to both knees, and he starts clutching his chest. And the guy's like, what's wrong? He's like, it's my defibrillator. And he's like, all right, well, I'm calling 911. He's like, don't call 911. I will refuse treatment. And another guy says, do you need help? He's like, it's okay. I'm a doctor.
All right.
This guy is awesome.
All right. I still hope he goes to fucking jail.
Yeah, so do I.
I think the hammer's coming down on a lot of these people eventually,
I think
right?
now, yes. But at this time, all right, so initially they find the first victim. Her name is Melissa Bartholomew. She's 24. She's an escort. 2 days later, they continue looking. They find 3 other victims.
Jesus.
And all these victims are in close proximity to one another. They still haven't found the girl who they've been looking for this entire time, who's Shannon Gilbert. One of the strange things that one of the 911 callers mentions, too, during his call, you could hear all of his call, and you could hear Shannon Gilbert in the background talking to this guy. The caller says that she's about 14 years old.
What?
She does look young, but I think 14 is a stretch.
Yeah.
How
What
old was she?
She was 24.
Okay.
Still, I mean, that's like there's
I'm sorry,
so much
23.
life. You know what I mean? Left to be lived.
And
Got a sneak preview of Jake's Corner on that one.
Touche.
Jake's
you just
court.
read that off of somebody's fucking beach house
Sorry, guys.
wall
I've
decoration.
been reading a lot of Lord Byron lately.
Yeah, Jake's corner is morphing into Jake's room.
I'm sorry.
I love it, Jake. Keep going, man.
Yeah, every 5 minutes.
So the other victims' names are Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Amber Costello, and Megan Waterman. And there's some commonalities with all these women. They were all found wrapped in burlap, which ends up being one of the primary reasons why they ended up arresting the suspect that they arrested, because the suspect's wife's hair was found on a lot of this burlap.
Whoa.
She wasn't involved, though.
Yeah, but how?
She did crafts.
What are they doing with this burlap? Do they have like a big spool of it?
I don't know.
Where do you even?
Because it wasn't
burlap?
described. They weren't described as burlap sacks. They were just described as
Right.
burlap. So I
Yeah.
imagine it is just they're
big
just fucking.
yeah.
Like 10 years ago, burlap was popular for like home decorations. So I wonder if the wife was like creating shit at home and trying to start a business or something.
Maybe a little shabby chic.
Yeah.
Do you know if the wife was influenced by Martha Stewart at all?
Would that make you like her more or hate her?
I mean, okay, it would make me like her a little bit, probably. I'm sorry, we're divulging into John's corner here. It's back to you, Mike.
All right. Well, there's enough corners in this room for each of us. So some of the commonalities amongst all the victims were that they were all discovered covered in burlap. I just made something, Jake. All discovered covered in burlap. They were all found on Craigslist, and they all disappeared between 2007 and 2010.
When you say discovered on Craigslist, what do you mean? Like they just had.
They had ads up there
Okay.
for their services, and guys would contact them.
This guy's trying to pretend like he doesn't know the Craigslist backpage section.
Craigslist? Wait a minute. There's
So do you have to go through Craig?
yeah, who's Craig?
He's the middleman, Jake.
But
Why is he sweating trying to play dumb so bad?
no, was it confirmed that's how they were contacted? Like
Yes.
before? Okay.
Yeah.
So you
That's the
said
method.
disappeared in 2007, so these were 3-year decomposed bodies that they found?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so they
And
had
the
been
elements
dumped-
are strong out there. I mean, when it's fucking wintertime, it's fucking wintertime
Yeah.
out there. And also, you're dealing
sea
with
water or sea air.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's salt.
Jesus Christ.
Now,
So this person found like fucking skeletons, basically.
yes.
Okay.
And some of the remains were, I think it was a skull and hands from someone who was killed in Manorville. Now, remember earlier I mentioned that there was a guy named the Manorville Butcher.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some of the other victims included a mother and her baby.
Jesus Christ.
And the only victim who was not female was an Asian guy who was dressed in women's clothing.
These were all found on Gilgo.
Yeah, they were found on Giggle Beach.
I'm going to take that again, and we're going to edit this out. They were all found on Gilgo Beach,
They were.
but they're not attributed to the suspect.
Currently,
Fine.
the suspect that they have, the only murders that they've attributed to him are the 4 women that I mentioned that they found that first day.
Okay.
Actually, the first 3 days.
But it's leading to potentially 10 plus.
It could be, yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to add a couple more. There's so much to this that it's fucking insane.
is wild.
That Gilgo Beach is the start of this case. It's not a cut and dried case. This is where it starts, and there's going to be a million more caveats to the story.
Dude, right now, it sounds like some wealthy person like paid some security like handler to deliver these women to be murdered at a cost. That's what it sounds like.
Dude, I mentioned before that the police chief and the district attorney got arrested for some bad stuff. What kicked that off was the police chief, which was a guy named James Burke. He was the Suffolk County police chief. He had a bag stolen out of his police SUV. A local heroin dealer broke into his car, stole this bag. In the bag, he had his gun belt, he had ammunition, he had cigars, he had dildos, and he had a few porno DVDs. The guy that stole the bag, he happened to pop in one of the porno DVDs when he got home. What do you think was on that DVD?
I don't want to know, but it sounds
Was
like
it a
it's
Snuff?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yikes. So that guy reported it. I'm assuming since
He was
know about him?
Dude, he was arrested. Okay, that guy was arrested. He was brought in. He was beaten by this cop, James Burke, and a bunch of other cops. And James Burke, actually, there was a 10-cop text thread where they're talking about the shit they're doing to this guy.
Whoa.
And James Burke, the chief of police, recommended that they give him a hot shot of heroin to kill him.
Fuck. That's
is that guy alive
He is still alive.
and out of jail, I assume.
He is, yeah.
Did
Clean.
Did he get a case?
He did, yeah.
Against them? He got money?
So, yeah, he won a civil case against them. James Burke actually went to jail for like 4 years.
For the snuff porn?
Not for the snuff porn, but for beating him and trying to get the police to cover it
Holy
up.
shit, 4
Wow.
years.
Yeah.
Damn.
And the DA, what the fuck was this guy named? Tom Spoda. He ended up doing 5 years for helping with the cover-up.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It was all for this one
Whoa.
guy.
For this one
So,
guy.
did they get the guy on camera stealing the bag? Is that how they knew to arrest him for
I don't
that?
know.
How do we know? This guy talked after he was let
He
out of
did, yeah.
jail
Yeah.
about the snuff film and shit.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Jesus fucking
Could you imagine
Christ.
trying to like masturbate and you put in a DVD and you're like halfway there and you're like, oh, this is getting a little hardcore, and then it gets too hardcore.
In the video, he says it's a masked man torturing a lady with her hands tied behind her back,
Oh, the whole yeah.
and he eventually kills her.
Sorry, I've never seen a snuff film, so I don't know what happens.
And
Back
then
in Jake's
there's-
corner.
All right.
Jake's snuff corner.
You never saw the movie 8mm with Nicolas Cage?
No, I haven't.
Now, before we go any further, I want to add, in January of 2011, remember the first victim's name was Melissa Bartholomew. Her little sister receives a phone call from her cell phone. Okay? Her body was found in 2010. She receives a call in 2011 from her cell phone.
What?
Yep. She answers. There's 2 phone calls. She answers. She talks to the guy. She doesn't know who the guy is. The guy's talking to her about her sister. And in one of the calls, he says, "Do you ever think you'll see your sister again?"
Even though the body was already found.
Yep. And he says, "Do you ever think you'll see your sister again?" And she says, "This first call might have came before they discovered the body. My bad." All right, but there were 2 phone calls. And he says, "Do you ever think you'll see your sister again?" And he says, "You won't, because I killed her."
Jesus Christ. This is completely fucked.
God.
I think initially, you know what? Initially, I think they might have been trying to figure out the remains, because they found the bodies in 2010, and I think the calls might have happened in January, so it's only a few weeks away.
Okay.
So I think it is within the realm of possibility they might not have just identified the bodies yet.
Right. But it was probably on the news, and the guy knew. And he had the fucking cell phone of the girl still.
Yeah, and he called her twice, and the girl is a 15-year-old girl that he's calling.
That's fucked up, man.
I guess I'll wait to the end, but you probably have some theories on who people might be, perhaps,
Yeah,
making these phone calls.
yeah. One of them is definitely the guy that they recently arrested.
Peter Griffin.
Yes.
Rex, right?
Yeah.
Heuermann?
Heuermann, yeah.
Heuermann?
Yeah.
You say Van Housen or Van Heusen? This guy's never worn a button-up shirt in his life.
Brother, how do you think I go to family court? But dude, in December 13th, 2011, Shannon Gilbert's remains are finally discovered. However, they immediately write it off as not being a part of the Gilgo Beach murder victims.
It's a weird thing to immediately write off.
On top of that, too, her skeletal remains were found, and they deemed her death a drowning.
Was it the same part of the beach where...
No.
Not the same marsh or
It's
anything?
further away. Like,
Was it like a marshy kind of area that it was hidden for a while?
It was. So there was a few inches of water, so it would be a real fucking stretch for her to drown here.
Okay.
Also, her pants were off, and they said that she probably died a combination of drowning and hypothermia. Or actually, she died in fucking May of 2010. She drowned, but because of hypothermia, the combination of the elements led to her being in the condition that she was in when she was found.
That's a fucking stretch.
It is a big stretch. Now, this is especially after you found bodies a few miles away that were clearly victims
Yeah.
of murder.
That's fucking... Who made this? The medical examiner deemed this?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because the family ended up hiring a medical examiner to perform their own investigation. And Shannon ended up having there was a bone in her throat that was crushed.
Oh my god.
So it's clear that she was
By
fucking
hypothermia.
strangled. What's that, by hypothermia? Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. This is like some really fucked up level of corruption. And
Yeah.
And at the time, police refused to look any further into this. They said this is clearly not a part of the other murders.
This is after a woman's throat has been crushed.
And not only that, but after all the fucking 911 shit that came out, initially
Yeah.
they didn't release the 911 calls. It took years for those to come out.
Yeah, is that like, do you know what year those were released? Is that just now coming out?
No, the 911 calls, I think they were released in 2018.
Okay. And you had never heard of the Gilgo Beach murders
no.
before Rex was arrested?
There was a Netflix thing about it.
Really?
I hadn't watched it.
So this is a big fucking case.
Yeah.
And has been deemed the Gilgo murder beach case for
Yeah.
10 years plus,
Yep.
I guess. Man.
Oh, dude, but I want to tell you some other funny things about the bad cop, James Burke. So before he became a bad police chief, he was a bad cop. And by bad cop, I mean he was picking up hookers in his squad car and having sex with them in the car. And one night, a hooker named Loretta Rickenbacker,
I like that name.
she ended up with his gun. So he gets outed as picking up prostitutes during his shift, and like I forget what his charge was for like letting somebody else handle your fucking weapon. As a cop.
Was there footage, dash cam footage of her with the gun?
Oh my god!
I think she got busted, and that's how all this came out.
She just said,
She got busted
I
'cause
held
she was
his gun.
She was a crack user, and she was selling crack as
This
well.
is hearsay then. They really took that into consideration? Her just saying he let me hold his gun?
I don't know.
Okay. I might go home and dig a little bit deeper into this. That's got to be some hot way to get your rocks off, though. Being a fucking boy in blue, letting the hooker hold your gun.
The crack hooker.
Yeah.
That's got to be exciting, Jake.
Unpredictable, dude. That's like Russian roulette,
Get
where
this,
you come at the end.
There's no evidence that he ever faced any kind of prosecution.
Where she'll blow your head off.
We're back in Furman's corner.
What about him?
There's no evidence that he was ever disciplined for this hooker business.
Oh, right, yeah. He served the 4 years for beating up the
Later on.
Jesse Pinkman guy.
Now, after being caught with a hooker and letting a hooker fuck around with his gun, he's promoted to lieutenant, he's promoted to chief of detectives, and in 2012, he's promoted to chief of police.
Naturally.
Wow.
And it wasn't long after he was promoted that he got in trouble for beating the living shit out of this guy and trying to kill him.
Oh, shit. That was after.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's actually a third guy. It was he, the DA, and another prosecutor named Chris McPartland that were all working in conjunction with one another to do fucked up shit. So whatever they wanted to do, they did, and they were all aware of each other's stuff. And other cops said they knew that all three of them were dirty, but there was nothing you could really do because if you crossed one, you crossed all three of them.
That's how it works.
It is, unfortunately.
Why are we surprised at this?
I don't know. Jake, are you surprised at all?
America's biggest gang.
I'll tell you what I'm not surprised about. I'm not surprised.
Got giggles over here in Jake's corner.
Jake, I'm not surprised that we finally have our first sponsor.
What?
We do.
We
Hell
do.
I'm proud to present our first Little Stinker sponsor. I would like to tell everyone to go to factormeals.com and use promo code STINKER50. John, you suck down a delicious fucking smoothie from Factor.
Yeah, in like 1 minute. I'm a strawberry banana smoothie head. And the fact that I can just have these in my fucking fridge at all times really makes a difference. I was just commenting today, me and my lady both, now that we got a new little one at home, can't go out and get a fucking smoothie like I used to.
You got them right there, buddy.
I know.
Look at that.
I'm so excited to have these now.
I got Factor meals yesterday. They sent me a bunch of them. I've already eaten 4, and I've drank 4 smoothies. Everything is delicious. So they're offering ready-to-eat meal kits, variety of lifestyles. There's over 30 different meals you could choose from each week. There's keto options, there's vegan options, there's vegetarian option. And if you use our promo code, which is STINKER50, you get 50% off your order. So go to factormeals.com/STINKER50. Treat yourself to something good. I was praying that something like this would come along because I mentioned earlier in this episode, I've been eating like an absolute pig.
Is this part of the reason why you're going straight and narrow? Because
This
you have
is.
access to Factor now?
Wow.
Nice.
The accessibility of it is one thing, but everything that I've tried so far has been delicious.
That's
And
awesome.
I can't tell you, like, I feel great right now just for having one day. I would normally walk around in a state of bloating.
I don't know if I've ever felt good in my life.
Yeah.
John, I'm telling you, it feels odd right now. I know I'm not hungry right now, but my body just wants to do something because I'm not used to just eating healthy.
Yeah, you're addicted to processed foods.
What
Like
if
we all are.
Factor Meals is responsible for our glow up?
I mean, there's a good chance.
That sounds awesome.
Damn, dude.
I wouldn't doubt it. But for real though, like I've been very open and honest about my struggles with like alcohol and fucking drugs.
Yeah.
My fucking bugaboo as of late has just been food because I eat like an absolute pig and I feel like shit constantly. But this has been a godsend. I just started eating them yesterday, and today I feel fucking great.
I can't
and
wait
I
to get
know
them.
I'm fucking doing the right thing by like eating what I'm supposed to eat for a change.
Yeah.
Dude, that's such a relief when you can just be given something. You don't have to put any thought into it.
Yeah.
Because God knows I can't do that.
Dude, and that's typically where I come off the
Yeah.
fucking rails because I live in any direction. I live 5 minutes from a hot dog restaurant. There's Wawas all over the place. There's incredible pizza everywhere. And there's so many times where I'm just starving and
Yeah.
I don't have anything good in the fridge. I'm like, fuck it. I'm getting a hoagie.
Yeah.
But today I had friggin' 10 meals stacked up in the fridge and a bunch of smoothies. And I'm just like, all right, this is what I'm going to eat. That's what I ate. And I feel good.
It's awesome.
Hell yeah.
But you can check that out. Go to factormeals.com, promo code STINKER50. You can check out what I'm talking about. One other cool thing that they offer is that you can get a free consultation with a nutritionist.
Oh, shit.
So if you're unsure how any of that works, they'll talk with you. I think it's a free 20-minute consultation that you could set up. You could try it. If you don't like it, it's easy to cancel, but I love it already, and I can't wait to get more of this stuff.
Put that nutritionist on speed dial. It's me again.
Yeah.
That's
You're-
factormeals.com/stinker50.
That is exciting. I can't wait to eat these fucking meals. I can't wait to have a fridge full of these guys.
I know, man.
I can't believe, but they all straw ban.
No, there was mango, and there was like a tropical blend.
You saved my favorite for me. You didn't even know it.
And there's not only do they have meals, they also have breakfast options. They have smoothies and they have juices.
Wow.
So it's a ton of good stuff. Ready to go back to murder?
I just want to thank our other sponsor this week, the National Park System. Go out there and enjoy America's playground, baby. That's the National Parks. There's over 64 of them in this great nation of ours, and I encourage you to go out and find your park.
Take only pictures. Leave only footprints.
Sign up for OnlyFans. That's the National Park Service. Promo code STINKER50.
That would be sick if we were the first podcast sponsored by National Parks.
I would like that.
They should be fucking
But that's
sponsoring
federal
our
money.
podcast.
So taxpayer, it's like a...
I'm sure we can figure something else out.
Yeah.
Or know how we could work it is that maybe there are tour guides that offer tours of the national parks. Maybe they could sponsor us.
Independent, outfits, or private outfits. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I took a.
Or we can just do it for the love of the game. You know,
I would do that.
next week
I would like to do that.
Next week I'll do hot dogs. All right, we'll go back to the murder.
All right, so something significant happens in January of 2020. So those police officers, the police officer
Coronavirus.
and the the district attorney, they're adjudicated. And during this time, so this is, all right, 2010 is where the bodies are found. There's nothing. So nothing happens for years. And that's in large part because the police chief who got busted for the snuff porn stuff, he ends up cutting off ties with the FBI investigation. He's making it a pain in the ass for them to operate. Information's not flowing freely.
Yeah.
He's not putting a lot of time and effort into solving these Gilgo Beach murders, which adds to the suspicion that maybe
Yeah.
he
There's involvement.
might know more than he knows.
In response to that, the
It
FBI just says,
pretends to know.
it's been tough to get this information, so we're just going to stop? Or does that when that's probably when they open a probe up on him?
Yeah, so with them being adjudicated, all right, they're putting a fresh set of eyes on this case. And in January of 2020, there's two significant developments. They released one of the bits of evidence that they found on the beach, which was a black leather belt, which had fucking initials on it.
Come on.
The initials, depending on how you read them, were either WH or HM. Considering the suspect that they just arrested, his last name is Heuermann.
Does he have, is Rex a nickname? Does he have a brother with the W
Rex is his
name?
first name. He's got a brother. Oh, that's another element to this that we're going to get
Shit,
into.
don't even get me started on Craig's ass.
Dude, Craig is a little...
Is it really
fucking-
Craig? Is it Craig from Craig's List? Jake's Corner, let's pop in.
I think I left the gas on. I have to go.
Police, they released this new tidbit of information, which wasn't available before. And then they also launch a website where people can see information on the case and can leave tips. They can leave tips. Unfortunately, they found one tip that probably should have cracked the case years ago. So shortly after the initial victims were discovered, police met with a guy named what the fuck is this guy's name? A guy named Dave Schaller, who was one of the victims, a woman named Amber Costello. He's her friend. I don't know what capacity friend he is.
Okay.
But Dave Schaller goes to police, and he had an interaction with a guy who came to their house that he shared with Amber Costello. They ended up fighting because when he came home, Amber was locked herself in the bathroom because this guy was being so threatening. Dave Schaller, when he went to police, described this fellow as an ogre. He said he had an empty gaze, but perhaps most importantly, he described the guy's car, which was a Chevy Avalanche, which should have been enough information to kind of point police in the right direction. However,
pictures of ogres.
Yeah, Shrek was out by then.
How many
fucking Shrek movies do we have by
Finding
fucking
bodies in swamps too.
Whoa.
donkey prints everywhere?
Shrek.
Shrek, I'm a serial killer.
Wait, hang on. He was doing quite a different voice. Let's let Jake's Corner cook for a
No,
second.
no. That was a solid Shrek.
No, what did you say? Was that
It's Shrek.
In whose voice? That was Donkey?
Yes.
That was Donkey. Okay. I like your donkey better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that way that donkey roll, baby.
What that donkey do?
He can talk.
Okay, now I'm kind of going to Jake's Corner on Donkey. All right. Jake's Corner got some good donkey action over there.
Shrek, to find hookers in the swamp.
Okay, I'm back on Mike's Corner.
Layers.
I was going to... Onion was the only quote I knew.
$200 for an hour, Shrek?
He's getting a little bit into a Chris Tucker. I'm going back to Jake's Corner.
Suntan on Gilgo Beach. You know this, man.
I don't care what he's doing. I'm in Mike's Corner.
Yeah. I think we just solved the case.
All right.
Could you imagine if this happened in a courtroom?
We should be jurors. I would like that.
Trial.
From now on, round rooms only. I'm tired of these corners.
So in addition, in 2020, to that crucial piece of evidence and the website being launched, police keep furthering the investigation. And in February of 2022, they launch a task force, which is a combination of the Suffolk County Police Department, the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office, the fucking New York State Police, and the FBI.
Jesus Christ. So all these cell phone pings and shit that have been leading them to him have been in the last year that they've really been heavily conducting the sting?
So what ends up leading them in the direction where they were able to arrest a suspect a couple weeks ago was the cell phone information.
Mm-hmm. And that, if I may, I believe I learned this from David Muir.
Hit me with it, baby.
It was a burner phone or a series of burner phones, but it was because the ping was always next to his phone, basically, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So it doesn't
shit.
matter. You leave your fucking regular phone at home when you're using a burner phone is the
Because they'll ping
the
and
lesson.
pong.
Jesus Christ. Did the lights go off in
the ping
Jake's
pong?
Corner? He's starting
I
to
haven't-
drool, and he just
I
keeps
haven't paid
saying
the
ping
bill.
pong. Back to Mike's Corner.
They're cooking now. So now they're going back on that initial tip from that guy, Dave Schaller, pointing out to like it being an ogre-like figure.
So Rex drove an Avalanche?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
So they're able to narrow it down. They're like, okay, they're using the Chevy Avalanche info, and they're using the cell phone pings, which point to the suspect. Dude, there's like maybe like a multi-block radius where they're able to narrow it down to. So they're able to narrow it down to the suspect probably living in an area of Long Island called Massapequa Park.
Now, is that because their pings just aren't super accurate, or does that mean that he's only going a couple blocks away to use his burner phone?
That's a good question, John.
Okay.
I don't know. They're able to, one other thing that ends up contributing to this too, is that they're getting pings in Manhattan. Mm-hmm. And Rex Heuermann, who is the suspect who's eventually arrested, he has an office in Midtown Manhattan.
Okay, does that imply that he does not go to Midtown Manhattan every day for work, but occasionally? Or does he go there every day?
I think he goes to the office 5 days a week.
Okay. So Long Island to
So,
Manhattan every day of the week.
Whoever the suspect is, they have a connection to Massapequa Park and to Midtown Manhattan. And they're looking up Chevy Avalanche owners in this area, and he's the guy that they come up with.
I feel like
That's how they narrow in.
Dude, and this
Those
all
three.
came from that fucking initial tip that should have cracked the case.
In what year? 2000.
It wasn't long after the bodies were discovered.
Mike,
13, right?
Mike,
Probably
would-
2013.
It may have been sooner. I wish I could give you a definitive
That's
date, but I
right.
can't.
Would you say all the clues?
I asked the hard questions here in John's corner.
If we can pop over to Jake's corner for 1 second.
Pop
Mike,
over.
quick question.
Yes, Jake.
With all these new incoming clues, would you say that it snowballed the investigation? Because he drove a Chevy Avalanche.
That is good, Jake.
That was deep. So deep that it fucking bombed.
Put my brain to sleep.
I can see it.
Oh my God.
That was very good, though, Jake.
All right. This fucking.
Yeah. Hang it. Don't even think
You
about
guys were like, no, I deserve this.
it. For the listener, Jake is trying to end his life with the microphone cord, but
Yeah.
we're not going to let him on camera.
Please.
And just for reference, Massapequa Park is about a 25-minute drive to Gilgo Beach. So
Okay.
pretty close.
It is very strange, though, that, I mean, maybe it is just the most perfect body dumping ground that he has access to.
Mm-hmm.
But to always do it by your own home kind of seems
Convenient.
lazy, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's strange to me. I don't know. Maybe it's not to you guys, but the Atlantic Ocean's right there.
Yeah.
But I
The
guess
tides, low tide, high tide, unpredictable.
Yeah, I guess the unpredictability of that would contribute to that. And also, I mentioned that there's a bike path near where these bodies were found. I wonder when that was put in, because I would bet that it wasn't there when he was dumping bodies there.
Yeah.
Because if there's no reason for people to be driving along this marshland, then it seems like an ideal place to do that kind of thing.
Where would you guys dump bodies now? Like if
In
you
your
had-
backyard.
Yeah. I set myself up for that.
How about you?
Well, we have a wildlife refuge right there.
I've never been to that.
No, neither have I. They're like, we have a walking trail. I'm like, no thanks.
You have rented scooters at least?
No, it's like a dirt path.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, well-
I was being you in your
Oh.
convenient mind. That's what
very-
I call it. Lazy.
Yeah.
So the task force is able to identify Rex Heuermann as a suspect. They're not able to arrest him immediately. He's the strongest lead right now.
And this is where the infamous pizza box comes
It is.
in, right?
So in January of 2023, they're trying to get DNA from him. They've taken bottles out of the trash.
They followed him up and down Manhattan sidewalks trying to pluck a stray hair out of his head for weeks, miles at a time.
Dude.
The guy never looked backwards somehow.
And in January 2023, they get him leaving his office, and he throws a pizza box in the trash. The pizza box has a bunch of uneaten crust in it. Delicious, doesn't it?
Yeah, you said pizza box. I perked right up.
God, I would kill to eat a pizza box right now. I want to go behind that Wawa, see what they put in their pizzas in. Okay.
Dude, please should reveal what pizza shop it was from.
Yeah, I'll bet that place is begging them not to.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. That would be
I would be excited by that.
That would be much more of a badge of honor than saying, "Hey, we used to feed this Peter Griffin ass murder ass." That'd be like, "Hey, he didn't come here every day, but when he did, he never ate the crust because our crust sucks."
They use the pizza crust to get his DNA, and they match it to hair found on burlap on 3 of the victims. His wife's hair was found on the burlap.
His wife's hair and his DNA should have no match, though.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe I have something mixed up here.
Yeah, I was assuming that there was.
So they're able
How
to.
could there be his DNA on skeletal remains, though? I never thought about. Well, I never knew that the. I figured the bodies were not skeletons by the time they were found. Jake's corner is laughing at that for some reason.
All right. I can tell you that his wife's hair was found on 3 of the bodies.
Right.
Okay.
She would have to have some kind of DNA info in the system
Yeah.
for them to trace it to her specifically. Huh. We'll figure this
I
out.
don't know.
was trying
We'll
to
get
search Gilgo and I accidentally searched Gilf.
Accidentally. Freud would say there are no accidents, Jake.
So they're able to make this DNA connection somehow in January. And on July 13th, a couple weeks ago, they finally arrest him. Did you watch the video of him being arrested?
I did not.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. He's leaving his office for the day. And
I did, yes.
They come running up to him.
Bunch of
and they arrest him.
undercovers. Yeah, or plainclothes guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all plain clothes and they arrested him?
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah,
seems like
and
a
he
prank
knew.
show.
He knew. No, there's like 10 of them on him instantly, and there's nothing he could do. I figure if there was a few less, he might like make a stink, maybe, or like try to, hey, get out of here, I'm going home. Perhaps, I don't know.
Well, he
They
was
box
always,
him in?
they pizza boxed him in, yeah. They only go after the upper crust, Jake.
He stuffed his crust, huh?
Dude, there's a couple different things I want to mention before we move any further.
Oh God, he's okay. Thank
No,
God.
no, it's fine. It's
Thank God he
nothing-
just pulled paper out.
So this is the bail application. This is, I guess, like the most significant document that they've released so far. It gives a lot of information in regards to where the victims were found, how the cell phones ended up tying into leading them to his arrest. But then there's also significant information here, which is adds relevance to.
Interesting information.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you some spooky stuff. So they include some of his Google searches. All right.
I think you might have said some of these last week, maybe.
I did, yeah.
They can find your Google searches?
Oh, Jesus Christ, Jake's
man.
corner sweating again. Of course, read them again.
I mean, they're all pretty fucked up. Like, there's a lot of like child porn stuff. A
Really?
lot of torture stuff. Yes.
What is he? What he just writes child porn?
I
into
mean, it's pretty
search bars?
explicit. He'll write short fat girl tied up porn, 10-year-old blonde hair girl.
That's weird, the short fat girl, because you said they were all petite.
Right.
Yeah.
Black girl, 10 years old, chubby 10-year-old girl, 13-year-old schoolgirl. So there's a lot of like there's no like gray area here.
Is he describing the victims that they found?
I don't know, man. Well, there is another section of searches. Like in this document, they have it broken up into like porn-related searches,
Yeah.
and then other searches which are just relative to him trying to find out how close they are to being on his
Yes,
tail.
I remember
Isn't
seeing
there-
that on the news. That's fucking insane.
There was someone
How
else.
would you ever search that from your own phone?
I know.
Jesus Christ.
But
private
dude,
browsing?
Jake, you are going to
Private
get caught for every single thing you've
That's why I
ever
don't
done a
commit
little
any
bit wrong.
crime, dude.
I figure on a note, back to your point of whether or not the searches were like accurate as to what the
Yeah.
victims looked like. When he said petite earlier, I assumed, or my first thought was that a tiny girl is just probably easier to not
Yeah.
get away or
Yeah.
to overpower.
Same.
Yeah. Which I think probably has a lot to do.
Like the easiest type,
Yeah. That's,
which sucks.
do you guys remember how I mentioned that one of the victims found, one of the 11 people found on the beach, was an Asian guy in women's clothing?
Mm-hmm.
One of his searches. All right, let me see if I can find this
no.
here.
a search history that read like a bad Chinese menu.
You're not far off because this is relative to Asian stuff.
I know, that's why I said
All right.
that.
But this is the redacted version that I have. Okay, I have
It's
the redacted.
really redacted?
It really is.
There's a black bar over the, or is it just whited out?
No, there's a black bar over it.
You redacted it yourself?
No.
Let me see the black bar. Now let me see the black bar next to your penis.
But I know there was a search here
Yeah.
that said Asian twink
Yeah.
and
you
some
said
other
that last
combination
week.
of words.
So, it isn't like that area like northern
He's asking
New
about
Jersey?
Googling stuff again. He's
No,
like,
no,
so
no.
you can't get caught for like...
So is Twink the guy's name?
He was an American Gladiator, right?
23-year-old Twink Hong was found
Oh, no.
hacked to pieces on Gilgo Beach.
Stop, man. No, don't do that.
Nah, that's worse than Jake's Corner, man.
Yeah, and that's pretty bad. No, but isn't like northern New Jersey and like that Long Island, New York? Because there was a documentary that just came out recently that we all I think watched. Isn't that like a like the capital of snuff film and like trade and stuff like that?
What documentary are you assuming we watched, you freak?
I think it was like something that was very popular. I'm just spacing on what the fuck it was. All right.
No, I didn't see anything about how that's the snuff film capital of the world. The movie 8mm with Nicolas Cage. Did I mention that earlier? That led me to believe it was based in Vegas. They go to a big fight.
I get that confused with 8 Mile.
Because of the MM.
And in both cases, people are losing themselves. That ain't Mom's spaghetti.
Jesus.
But I just wanted to make that Asian note for you.
Thank you. What?
I felt like it was worth. Also, I think the child stuff is relevant too, considering they found an actual child's body on the beach.
That.
That's fucked up.
Is that the one with the mother and the child?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Do you know anything more about that? That's like
what I do know
crazy.
is that police have concluded that both the mother and the baby died at the same time. So they weren't killed separately and dumped at separate times. They've said that they were both killed at the same time.
Was the mother like? Is there any information about her? Was she escort or anything?
Well,
that would
bring your child to work day kind of thing. I mean, I'm just being serious. Like, childcare is expensive.
it is.
Did she bring the child to work?
you bring up a valid point.
Here's one thing that is notable about the mother.
You do.
The mother has been referred to by police as Peaches because she has peaches tattooed on her body.
So they found them before they were skeletal remains.
Yeah, that was part of the 2011 find. I don't know if they weren't skeletal remains yet, but 2010 is when they found the initial 4 bodies.
Yeah.
But by 2011, they found all the bodies that were on Gilgo Beach.
So in total, there were 10 or 13 bodies.
There were 11 found on Gilgo Beach.
11.
Yes.
And I understand that there could be a potential connection to some murders in Atlantic City.
Yep. So to clarify, it was 10 in this smallish area on Gilgo Beach, and then Shannon Gilbert, which was a little bit further away.
So that's 12.
That's 11 total.
Okay.
All right.
They just don't count that as Gilgo Beach because it's
I don't know if
kinda
it counts as Gilgo
separate
Beach or
town.
not. I think it's lumped in with the murders just because, in a general sense, it's in such close proximity.
This
But
is just a
you
copy
would have to
and
drive there.
No, this is the separation of beach towns, so
I do want
it's
to
a
add
different case.
I do want to add this for context. From that guy John Brewer's house, the John whose house that Shannon Gilbert went to that night,
Yeah.
you're able to see where her body was found. If you stand on his back deck, you can see where her body was found.
Shannon's body?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, so he lived. I thought he lived like 7 miles.
On, I think it's called Oak Beach. That's the area
Yeah.
where she was found,
Talking
which
about-
is 7 miles from Gilgo
Talking
Beach.
about who she was called there for. Yeah. That guy, John Brewer, right? Joe Brewer.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
he
wait.
understands that.
Gilbert's body was 7 miles?
It's the furthest
Away?
from all the other ones. So I wish I had a
I
map
don't
to show
think
you right
that's
now.
the case. That's a long stretch of Long Island.
So you don't think that is... Here, I'll show you.
I think you were 7 miles in my head is referring to something you said about somebody's
8 miles.
house being. Yeah, it was just 8 mile minus 1. Thank you,
Yeah, you
Jake,
got
for
it.
getting me out of that.
All right, I know there's a
I'm
map
back
in
on
here that I
Jake's
can show you,
corner.
John.
Yeah. So I think what he's saying is this victim was 7 miles from all the other victims. So Gilgo Beach was here. The Shannon Gilbert.
That is significantly further. I thought it was like
Yeah. Well, I mean,
a mile away.
from here to like the heart of Chester's like 6 miles, and that's not that far.
Right, but you would
Yeah.
think.
That's a 10-minute drive.
I'm not blaming them as hard now, knowing that it was 7 miles and the other ones were so isolated
Yeah,
together.
and what he's saying is that when she called 911 and she was running around, the John whose house she was going to, where they found her body, was visible from his back deck.
Gotcha.
I'm going to show
Thank
you
for
a...
clearing that up. Jake's Corner, man, you're really coming for me tonight.
You know,
In a good way.
a lot happens when you just shut up and listen.
I thought I have been listening.
No.
And also providing.
That wasn't at you. That was me, you know.
You
a
were talking.
reflective
You
point.
were thinking out loud.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a good visual.
Oh, there we go.
These are good infographics to look at. Thank you
Gilgo.
to our producer. My name's Jeff Simmons.
My name's Jeff. Wow.
He made the screen and
That was way
giant,
worse.
but the pictures got smaller. The opposite effect happened
Yeah.
somehow.
Here we go. So, John, you could probably see this. I don't know. That doesn't look like 7 miles from here. So this is where Shannon Gilbert's body was found, and here's where all the others were. That looks
Okay,
like
she's not that far away from the top of the cluster of bodies. That's a bad way to say it. May I see that piece of paper that is on your leg? I like. You have a nice. Did you go to Kinko's or do you have a color printer on hand?
I do have a color
This
printer
is
at home.
nice. Okay.
Yikes.
Is this? I know one of the counties of Long Island is lesser than the other. I suppose. Are you aware of this?
No, I'm not.
I'm assuming that the one that doesn't have the Hamptons is what people consider.
Less than.
Right?
Yeah.
That seems
They
live closer to Queens and Brooklyn. That's probably
Yeah.
the further away you get, probably the richer the people are.
John, I just want to confirm that I'm giving you accurate information in regards to how far away these victims
Okay.
were.
There you go.
I
There's
appreciate
a-
that. Jesus Christ. That one's out on like a sandbar. Those are markers of where the bodies were found?
The one that's farthest to the right, that's probably the Jane Doe that was found with the baby.
They still have never identified that woman?
They just call her
Is
Peaches.
down there. Okay. Peaches is the closest to New York,
Okay.
but Fire Island, Jane Doe.
Fire Island is pretty fucking remote, dude. Like those are like just roads don't even connect through all those sandbar towns.
Wow.
So that is I forgot that there was like giant sandbars separating like the houses from the beaches.
My God, man.
So, all right, that makes a lot more sense for a lot of those. Fuck. Well, is it because this is like an active investigation? When fucking Ed Gein chops bodies up, it doesn't give me the shivers as much as it has
Dude.
tonight with him talking about this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because we're living in it, too.
I guess so,
And
yeah.
they haven't been fully
And I think it's because the net seems like it's impossible to know how far it goes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's implications that police and district attorneys are fucking involved.
I'm going to go on record here and say this podcast is way less fun when you can see pictures of the victims.
I
Yeah.
haven't been having as
No.
fun of a time, but maybe we don't need to have fun all the time.
Yeah,
you know?
true.
We're like fucking Pleasure Island boys over here. Thing on Pleasure Island boys, those fellas make out. They're brothers. What are they doing?
They made out?
For clout?
No, they did not.
Dude, they made clout, dude. Yeah, they
That's
kissed.
how you do it. That's
They
how you
kissed
do it, I
each
guess.
other.
Man. They're just trying to make it, you know?
Let's get a check in with Mike's Corner. What are you looking for
All right,
specifically?
I'm
at this
looking
point?
for the specifics of how far away Shannon Gilbert's body was from the rest of the bodies.
He was just showing us.
Okay, does that look like 7 miles, or does that look like a shorter distance?
It could be.
What's that?
This is the path that she was. This is where her body was found. This is that house that she was at.
Oh, okay.
The other house that she went to, and another house, and then they found the items here. And then they found her body.
Whoa.
All right.
And that is just a whole marsh there, I'm assuming, where there's no houses and shit. How did your stuff
So
get-
that's probably the Atlantic Ocean. So the rest, all the other bodies that were found.
Welcome
at
to the
Gilgo Beach-
podcast where Mike guesses what the Atlantic Ocean is. If I had to guess, that's probably the Atlantic.
No, here's why I'm saying. Listen, because it's either the bay or it's the Atlantic
Right,
Ocean,
yeah.
and all the victims' bodies were found on the side of the bay.
Okay.
Which
So it's marshier and not just a beach where the tide is coming in and out.
correct,
It's
yeah.
also where less people go. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, it could just be a matter of convenience. Maybe he's going home that way. So that's why I'm guessing, dickhead. It's either the fucking
Jesus, guy.
Either
Mike's
Atlantic
Corner's
Ocean
getting
or
a
the
little
bay.
hostile. But we can agree, it ain't the Pacific. Here's your paperback. Agreed.
To your point that you made about 12 minutes ago, there is an Atlantic City element to this.
Right, yes.
Jake, do you remember in 2006, 4 hookers were found behind the Golden Key Motel with face down?
No. This wasn't during one of your on Percs runs?
No.
Jake, on a separate note, where were you? What do you mean face down? Like execution style killed?
Bro, they were found fucking face down, shoeless, and they were all facing Atlantic City.
With like their hands bound, or just they were
I
positioned
don't think they were
that way?
bound.
Face
So-
down, so like their heads were in the direction of Atlantic City.
All the heads were in the direction of the Atlantic City because the Golden Key Motel, which is no longer there, it was on the outskirts on Black Horse Pike. I think that area is called Pleasantville, New Jersey.
Is that like over the bridge still? Like you go
Yeah, dude, it's
out
like-
of AC over the bay?
It's maybe a couple hundred yards from the Atlantic City Welcome Center.
Okay.
Actually, I the night I went on my Atlantic City bender, I bought Coke at one of the motels across the street.
How?
The gentleman who I linked up with, he drove me to go there, or I drove him to go there. I dropped him off. He went in one of the motel rooms, and about 15 minutes later, he came out and.
How did you broach the subject? You just saw a guy and you were like, "Hey, can you get Coke?"
Yeah, I mean, I checked into my motel, and he was like an angel. I opened my door. I was going to just roam around until I found
Very
somebody.
dark angel.
Jake.
Oh, God, I don't mean it that way.
He was.
I thought for sure you did.
But he was on the corner on his bike. And I invited him over, and I had
did
beer.
not mean it that way.
Asked him if he wanted a beer, and within a minute, I asked if he could get me Coke. He says, yeah, can I leave my bike in your room?
You had a bunch of beer in your room.
Wait.
Yes.
And within 1 minute of giving him a beer, you want a beer? Can you get Coke?
Yeah.
You let him
Jesus
put his
Christ.
bike in your room?
Yeah, what do you mean by that? Why is that so odd? I'm trying to go buy drugs, man.
They weren't going to take the fucking bike to get the drugs, Jake.
Now, here's the deal. I thought that made me feel much more at ease knowing that he was leaving his bike in my room.
trusted you, yes.
Right, yeah. And I trusted him, and I got what I wanted.
And he probably got what he wanted, which was half of the Coke price that he told you, which was double the price what it really
Yes.
was.
Yeah.
Which was $100?
I don't remember, man.
Was this the iPod sale?
Yeah, that was that night.
Oh,
It's
man.
so funny that like you just ask a guy, "Can you get Coke?" It's not like, "Do you know where I can get any?" I guess it's the same question, but it's like, "Yes, I can get you some. It'll be very inconvenient for both of us."
But he was clearly homeless.
Okay.
So
Damn, homeless boys got to connect like that.
anything, he was actually selling heroin too.
He had that on him.
I tried to get some from him, but he wouldn't give it to me.
Then he didn't have it on him.
He did.
He showed you the drugs and then
He
refused
mentioned
to
it
sell
me.
it to you.
I
He had
asked
a
him what he does because I have the social skills of a feral cat. So I asked this homeless guy what he does with his time. And he told me in a roundabout way that he sells heroin.
Was it his bike?
I hope so.
It
Now-
wasn't. I was going to say that earlier.
At
but
the
I
end
didn't
of the
wanna be
night-
a fucking dickhead.
At the end of the night when I ran out of Coke, I would take the edge off when I could with Percs. I knew a guy that's homeless is going to have Percs, and being that he insinuated that that's what he sold, figured I would try a little bit of heroin, but he refused to sell it to me.
You were going to snort it?
Yes.
Jesus.
Well, that guy was like a fucking angel in disguise.
He's an angel in more ways than one
Jesus
because
Christ.
the guy clearly had a heart.
He went out of the way to get you a drug that he does not sell
Well, he was buying drugs for himself too, with my money.
with your money. Yeah. Did he? Was he the kind of guy? Yeah, I'll get you that. Yeah, I'll get you that for
Yep.
like a little Beetlejuice kind of a voice.
How else do angels speak?
I don't remember his voice. I do remember what he looked like though.
So, what did you think the impression I was just doing was?
I don't know.
You just thought I'd talk like that? Yeah, I'll get you that. Is that a good Beetle?
I don't know, man.
Is that John Lennon?
I've watched a lot of Beatle videos.
Ringo?
That's pretty good.
The Beetle baby?
The previous one was not.
Okay, man, I'll get you 1, 2. I'll get you 3 Coke. Yeah, I can do any. It's Beetle baby.
He would get me 3 Coke.
Thanks. Thank you
Impressive.
for Beetle Corner.
All right, I think that might be all the corners we have in this room. But dude, the fucking Atlantic City angle is even creepier. So Rex Heuermann used to spend a lot of time in Atlantic City.
Trashy.
There's a gentleman's bar on the boardwalk called Stiletto. And there was
Oh, yeah, right next to Buca de Beppo. I don't know. I just like saying Buca de Beppo. I'm sorry. He caught me red-handed. I'm sorry. I've had 3 beers for the first time in 5 weeks.
No,
I'm feeling fucking good.
It's actually right next to Poca de Hookah.
Actually, I've only had 2. I got to have 3.
Yeah, you got to fucking slam some down, buddy. But I read an interview with
You pissed all over your fucking pants, man. Look at this guy. He's pissing.
with a lady from Stiletto, and she said that he used to come in there a lot, and he was very weird. She mentioned that after she had her second kid, he didn't want anything to do with her.
That's fucking weird. 1 is fine, but after 2...
It might have been harder for her to get herself back together after that.
You think he had biblical knowledge of this information?
Well, they'll tell you everything.
Who, hookers or bartenders?
Both.
She was sent to the minor leagues, show and tell.
And he was a AC regular in
He would spend
the
time there. And
2006 time.
Yep.
Poker was big at that time.
4 at
though.
once is extreme for somebody that went years until he killed again and it was just individual people.
Mm-hmm. Now, sadly, the final victim that was found in AC, she had only been dead a couple days when she was found. So they weren't far off. And the way that they found all the victims was...
Oh, wait, they weren't all found together.
Yeah, they were all found together, but they were
Yeah.
killed at separate times.
Yes.
2 women were walking their dog on this access road behind the Golden Key Motel. And behind the motel is the access road, and right parallel with that is a drainage ditch. So they were found in these... fucking
Robes.
weeds back
Oh.
there. So they were found there, and they were submerged. It wasn't. It was only a few inches of water that they were found in. However, all right. So that was all right. That's the Atlantic City connection. There are also possible Las Vegas and South Carolina connections as well.
Wow.
He actually had homes in. He had a timeshare in Las Vegas, and he owns a ton of property in South Carolina.
Charleston?
No.
Okay.
No.
The Murtaughs.
But he's been gradually buying up property in South Carolina, along with his brother Craig, who lives in South Carolina currently. Craig's a little stinker. I mentioned. Did I mention what he did down there?
No.
No. You were getting to it.
He is a little stinker. So people have been going nuts, like interviewing as many people as they can that live around the Heuermanns. One guy, I think his YouTube name is Nerdy Addict. He went down there and he was interviewing neighbors. One of the neighbors said that Craig Heuermann snuck up on him while he was mowing his lawn and hit him with a lead pipe because he gave instructions to all the neighbors that he came across that he does not like the sound of lawns being mowed on Sundays.
Yikes.
Sorry, I missed the memo.
On top of that, too, Craig also gave out business cards to all the neighbors. He put them in their mailboxes. One said, Craig Heuermann, I'm an asshole, along with his number. Another business card said, Craig Heuermann, bad motherfucker, and his number.
I saw a picture of that on Twitter.
That's cool.
I'm an asshole. I think you're probably just a corny dork and very annoying.
Craig, that's John saying that, by the way.
Craig, come fucking see me, dude. I will give you the address. I got a new golf shirt, man. I will beat the fuck out of you.
But that's actually, they found a Chevy Avalanche down there. I don't know if it was the one that was used in the murders.
They found that in South Carolina?
Right. Rex had given a Chevy Avalanche. I don't know if it was the same one or if he owned a couple Chevy Avalanches, but they ended up confiscating one in South Carolina.
It has to be that one. It has to be.
I don't know.
buys
I don't know.
two-
He's about
who
to be the
buys
guy that
two-
owns 2 fucking,
Yeah,
or has
that's
owned
true.
2 Chrysler 300s.
Yeah.
Do you know what the year was on these South Carolina and Vegas possibilities that these murders took place?
I don't know.
Okay. But so as far as we know, 2006 in Atlantic City is the oldest thing that he could potentially be involved with.
As of right now, yeah.
Okay. But this very much leads to a bigger ring of people.
Yeah, there's it's spooky. One, I mean, just with the brother element, because dude, they own so much fucking land down there. It's scary.
In South Carolina?
Yeah, there's so much fucking land. They're gradually buying more and more, and that's where Rex had actually planned on retiring to. So now it's just all Craig. And
will he kill himself before he goes to trial?
I don't think so, man. I just don't get that feeling from him.
Do you think his brother's going to be pulled in on these crimes?
I don't know. I think it's possible.
I think there's going to be a lot more hammers dropped.
So you said that in the beginning that you thought there's more people involved in this. So besides the brother, who else do you see being a part of this?
One of the scary aspects of this is the two cops that thwarted the investigation earlier on. One was the fucking police chief, one was the DA.
Yes.
Okay. And it's especially horrifying that the police chief had snuff porn on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
fucking beat the guy to a pulp that found it.
Yeah, and he deliberately threw a monkey wrench into the investigation to get the FBI out of their hairs.
Yeah.
You think they're just two guys in the snuff?
Well, there potentially could be it could be a separate group of shitty people.
I mean, Long Island is a big place.
Right. It could be a separate thing from Rex and his circle, but I do think, given the information that you've presented here tonight, Rex is not a solo operation. The guy with the backyard or the HOA guy, the doctor.
And that's another aspect of this, which is very fucked up. The fucking doctor chiming in, the fucking... the John who called the girl's mom.
How is there not more information from the old lady and the old man whose houses got knocked on about what happened to her after the phone call was made?
I think now we're going to find out a lot more about that.
Yeah.
At the time, it seemed... I mean, it's criminal that they didn't push that any further.
Yeah. And is that the same cop and DA? Is it their same district? That would be they would be
Suffolk
the ones?
County, yeah. Now, actually, where they are... which is it's pretty fucked up that it ends up this way. The Suffolk County jurisdiction, it may end with Gilgo Beach. So who's to say how much different this would have been if it had just been a few miles to the west?
Maybe the bodies were dumped there because they knew what jurisdiction stopped where.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see. Now, Craig Heuermann, his net worth I've seen listed at $7 million. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's got money, and he ran his own architectural firm in Manhattan. There's an interview which will give you insight into how he speaks, what his body language is like. What the fuck was the name of this fucking YouTube channel? If you just go to YouTube and type in RH Architecture interview, you should be able to find it. But it's Rex Heuermann being interviewed by this guy who gets off on fucking architecture.
Do you pick up vibes from that interview very fast, like that this guy is capable of these crimes?
What you pick up is that his dead-eyed stare, his it seems like he stands way too close to the guy when the guy introduces himself to him.
They're standing in this interview?
They're initially standing. You see the interviewer, walk in with his dog. He introduces himself to Craig. And to me, they're standing way too close for like a normal introduction.
Is it like a live talk or is it like just a filmed thing, like no audience?
It's like a 20-minute interview.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I've seen a part of this. He's like, well, basically, I'm Rex Heuermann. I'm an architect here at blah, blah, blah.
It's an incredibly boring interview, and he's talking about all the paperwork and all the red tape he's got to fucking sort through and why he's valuable in his industry.
Yeah.
And he did seem like he was good at his job. Relative to his workplace, I have seen interviews with women that have worked for him, and they describe him as very creepy, as constantly pressuring them to go hunting with him.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's a specific weird thing to do.
That is wild.
But in that interview, one other aspect of that interview is there's a follow-up. I wish I remembered this fucking interviewer's name, but he must have been getting hounded in the past week or so, and he gave an interview to someone, and he said one thing that really stood out about meeting Rex Heuermann was how strong he was when he shook his hand. He's like, I felt like my hand was fucking getting crushed by this guy.
God damn. Maybe
And he is a motherfucking ogre. He's 6'3" and 250.
Looks like a little bit like, what's his name? Brendan. The guy from
Gleason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little bit
Yeah,
of
he
a
does,
Brendan
yeah.
Gleeson vibe.
Yeah.
Just big, towering, kind of lumbering guy.
Yeah, they've been taking shit out of his house for the last, like, fucking 10 days. They dug up the backyard.
Yeah, I saw that.
A couple of things that they took out, I guess they're salacious, but, you know, I think they're easily explainable. One thing that seemed insane was that I saw it being reported that there was a child-sized doll in a case that was taken out of there. But I saw
In a case?
dude, I saw a picture of it, and it's just the kind of thing that, you know how, like, when middle-aged empty women have nothing to do, they just collect these $300 fucking baby
I was gonna
dolls.
say, is it like one of those American Girl
It is.
dolls? Yeah.
So I don't think.
Those are worth money. You know,
How many do you have, Jake?
about 7.
Got a Kittredge kind of guy over here.
They did take out a few hundred guns, and they took out a very strange painting. But
A few hundred guns. Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
he's a
dude.
gunman.
You know,
A few hundred. What are you going to do with all those guns?
shoot the doll.
I mean, shit, I don't even wear on my sneakers. Who am I to talk?
There's a very strange painting they took out, and I don't think art should be something that should be held against somebody. However, this painting showed like a young woman who's beaten so badly that both of her eyes are swollen shut.
A painting.
A painting, yeah.
That's fucking bizarre.
So it'd be interesting to see if that's relative to a condition that one of the victims was left in.
Purchased or original? Like, did he do it?
He commissioned Ryan Shaner to make it.
Now that is a connection, I believe.
Maybe he can get us in touch with the model.
I saw that the wife has filed for divorce, and also
When it rains, it pours.
poor guy. And then it's something about her being out of town when most of these bodies were either dumped or found.
She was traveling, and some of the travel is pretty far, but like there's times where some of the victims were killed. She was just in like fucking New Jersey for the weekend.
Right.
Which seems nuts to take that upon yourself to do when your wife's that
I mean,
close.
how many times do you come home from a long weekend where you weren't with your husband and you get back to town and like, well, they found another body on the beach that's 5 miles from where we live. That's weird. I'm going to go out of town again this weekend to see if anything happens.
I also wonder if he killed them in his home.
Yeah, with that soundproof room, that's a potential. Okay, so yeah, if that's the case, the wife goes out of town. He brings escorts home, kills them in a soundproof room in his basement, and then takes the bodies out. And I mean, I guess some of these bodies are there for a year or more before they're found.
The question I have then is like, what about the driver, the security? Like every time, you know what I mean?
True,
Like,
yeah.
they have to be serving them up, and he's probably cutting them in. Like, give me like your lowest producing sex worker, and I'll give you $500,000.
Damn, isn't that written on the Statue of Liberty?
I mean, it's
Blow Us Island.
they all have.
What island?
Blow Us Island.
No, it didn't rhyme good enough for my taste.
Kill Us Island.
No,
Smell-us Island.
we're getting there. That rhymes good enough for me to like it.
All right. It just doesn't make sense because if they all have to report to somebody as like a security measure,
Exactly. So this has to go
this has to be internal.
to whoever runs the escort service. Somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get to come home without the fucking escort you left with more than once,
Yeah.
unless the boss knows.
Yep.
I'm thinking that driver, Michael Pack, was the boss, though. And if you're
If it
the
goes
guy,
as high as him,
yeah, if you're the guy,
that could be it.
because she mentions these are the most fucked up 911 calls I've ever heard. However, to
Yeah.
add context to this, I do recommend you check him out if you can handle that kind of stuff, because you hear her saying it sounds like somebody who's been drugged, and you do hear her say, "I know you guys are in on this." Like how can you like do this?
Like she's talking to someone she's familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah. That, I mean, the fact that this started with those, you telling us about those 911 calls really set the tone for how fucking creepy and scary this is.
And both of those guys are just saying, just come outside, just come outside, just come outside.
And are their voices clear?
Yeah, there's versions of the tape on YouTube where the people have transcribed them and also attributed the speaker's name to it. So it's like, it'll say like Michael Pack, or it'll say like Joseph Brewer.
And this is conjecture, technically? Or they know for a fact that it's these people's voices?
That's a great question. I don't know if there's been like an official like state police version of this, which I guess would be. I don't even know that I would buy that, because the state police came out and said like this was not connected to the Gilgo Beach murders, which it seems too close not to be to begin with. So.
Even if not, they're the last ones to see her alive, or like
I know.
two of the last ones.
That's
Dude.
the thing I'm hung up on is like, how is he involved with this murder?
The
Besides
Gilbert one
burlap,
specifically.
right? Yeah, besides just the burlap evidence.
But he hasn't been charged with that murder.
Okay.
So Rex Heuermann was just charged with the Gilgo 4, which were Melissa Barthelemy, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Amber Costello, and Megan Waterman, which were the women that were found on December 11th and 13th, 2010. They've charged him with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 4 counts of second-degree murder in those cases, and also abuse of corpse. So I think whatever information has come out so far, I think it's only the beginning. And dude, the fucking, even though it may not be related, it may not be committed by the same people, I think the Shannon Gilbert case is the one, that aspect is the one that needs to be explored the most out of all of this.
Yes, that has the biggest implication of multiple people being involved.
I mean, just the fucking...
At least 3 other people.
Right.
Doctor.
John,
and then
doctor.
the doctor, yeah.
And I'm sure we're going to get these neighbors in interviews at some point on some TV show.
One of the neighbors, there was a male neighbor and a female neighbor that she went to, and they were both people that called 911. However, the male neighbor said something especially odd. He says, "You're going to get yourself in trouble." He let her into the house.
You're gonna get yourself in
like
trouble.
Stepford wife shit. Like I
don't
know
know.
what happens in this neighborhood.
It could be something that just like an old man who's just trying to calm down
Right.
a person on
It's like,
drugs
"You're
would
gonna
say,
get
but at the
yourself
same
in
time,
trouble." Yeah.
if you know this is a part of something,
Yeah.
if this is something that
That could
normally
go both
happens,
ways.
yeah,
Yeah.
if this is something that you're aware of it normally happening, it could just be like an insinuation, like you know what these fucking guys are capable of.
You better be getting a hefty break on your HOA fees if you're looking the other way on sex trafficking and murder.
Oh, really? I can't have a yellow mailbox, Dale?
You gonna kill that idea too?
No, can't. This is a somber moment.
Yeah, but it's very spooky stuff, man.
It is fucking really creepy. It's giving me the ick more than any other thing you've told me about.
Especially so since they weren't pressed for their clear involvement in this. Like there weren't any charges initially brought against the fucking security guy or the John who fucking called him up.
Yeah.
But then also, why would you just drop it?
Wait, maybe, do you think this was a snuff situation gone wrong?
I think that's what they were going to do.
And that's how that's why the cops are covering it up, because this is all part of their ring of snuff. So this maybe
You
maybe
think
this
every single case has been that?
I think it could possibly be.
Wow.
And considering what was found on that DVD, now the guy that stole that canvas bag, his name's been dragged through the mud, and like he honestly like he played a part in that doing it himself. He was a heroin dealer, and if you check out his Facebook profile, he posts some pretty wild shit. However,
you're on his Facebook profile?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
he posts some pretty wild shit. However, if the chief of police is going to beat you and threaten to kill you, odds are you probably found some very fucked up shit belonging to him. And
it's only based on his word about that, right? About the snuff porn.
It is, yeah.
Okay. That's obviously a grain of salt.
But this would all fit because I think anybody who's into very fucked up illegal porn, I think they all operate in circles. And I think it's a way for them to kind of like trust people and also in a certain way, like absolve themselves of wrongdoing by saying, like, it's like, I know what you did, and maybe I'm not as bad as you.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's like we share the burden.
Right.
It the weight is lesser when it's on another
Right.
group of familiar people.
And especially since it's, you know,
The burden, like it's a fucking something that's not in their control, and they're not sick fucking freaks. That was a
right. And I think I was about to say, especially because it's the victims are a population that are typically discarded.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy, man. If this is all like based on fucking a snuff porn ring, this is like the fucking Nicolas Cage movie that I will not stop talking about, no matter what you look at me like, Mike.
National treasure.
That is fucking crazy. It wasn't until just you broached the idea of that.
Yeah.
The whole thing being that the Gilbert thing, it definitely seems like that's what was.
You can hear over fucking 20 minutes of her talking
I
to
can't
these
do
guys.
that.
How do you fucking have 20 minutes of recorded conversation with a 911 operator and not be saved?
Seriously.
Well, she even asked her at one point, she's like, can you trace this call? And the 911 operator says, no, I can't.
Like she's in a
makes
place
no
where it can't be
sense.
traced, or like she doesn't have that power, no matter where
She
it
doesn't
calls
give
from.
a clear answer.
That's, I mean, I wouldn't assume that a dispatcher would have the ability to trace a call.
But don't they do a thing where if you call 911 and you hang up, the cops just show up anyway?
Yeah, I've always.
It may
heard
have been
that.
different. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
the way that they're able to do that with cell phones now is different than it was in 2010.
Also, that might be
Oh, landlines?
maybe.
Yeah.
Man, this is a very disturbing case, and I hope anybody involved gets absolutely butt fucked in jail for it. Butt fucked to death in jail over the course of 10 years.
Yeah, not butt fucked to the point where they come harder than they've ever come before.
right.
Because
I sure hope they don't enjoy it.
when they're hitting that prostate, boy, it's like,
Are you speed bagging it?
it's like
He is.
Tyson a week out from a fight.
He is. He's got both sides of his
Yeah.
penis hole punching the inside of a man's butt button.
Your dick gloves don't come out when you do that stuff.
Dick glove.
That's their newest sponsor. Use Stinger 50. Go to dickglove.com. Stinger 50.
More people are afraid of going in the ocean these days. That's why Body Glove, the surfing company, has chosen to shift their approach to sales a little bit. Now they make Dick Glove. That's all I got. I'm not like a long riff kind of a guy
No, it's
usually.
great.
Also, I've been holding in a piss for like 10 minutes, and
Oh,
it's
no.
really it's up to here, man.
Do you think if Dick Glove is associated with Body Glove and if they have a surfing spokesman, it would be Kelly Splitter?
Like Kelly Slater.
Yeah.
Again, not hitting the rhyme quota that really tickles me
All
for
right.
your puns.
I get it, man. I get it.
Slater.
Wipe out.
Splayed her.
Yeah, that would.
Kelly splayed her. Mouthful. Man. 2 words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to have a bit of a... I am just going to go piss now that we're talking about surfing puns.
All right, Jake and I will continue the
Yes.
conversation while John goes to the
I
bathroom.
mean, yeah, we're an hour 42 in. We can keep this going.
John, do me a favor and take one for me.
Yeah, can you take my piss cup with you?
Oh, Jake. Well, I'll talk to him about it when he gets
Yeah.
back too. But were you following the Taylor Schabusiness trial at all?
No, I have not.
Are you familiar with her?
Nope.
I know I've mentioned her before.
Yeah, you have mentioned
But it's
her.
the very attractive woman from Green Bay, Wisconsin, who was cheating on her husband
Yeah.
with an unfortunate young man who ended up getting his head and penis cut off.
What?
Yeah.
Like the Prey Mantis style kind of thing?
Yeah. So they were smoking meth in his mom's basement,
Nice.
and she strangled him to death with a dog collar.
Dude, and mom was upstairs the whole time?
Yep.
Jesus.
Strangled this poor guy to death with a dog collar, and after she strangled him to death, she started cutting him up. And
Oh
she-
my God.
She cut off his wiener, and she cut off his head, and she put the head in a pot at the bottom of the basement stairs, and she filled a crock pot with different parts of his body, and she put that in her car, and she left the house at 2:30, and the mom woke up because she heard the storm door slam.
Yeah.
She went down to go see what the fuck was up, and she noticed the pot at the bottom of the stairs, and there was a towel over it. She moved the towel, and she saw her son's head in
Oh
it.
my God, dude.
Dude, there's actually body cam footage that you can watch. You don't see the
Yeah.
head, but you see the path. You see the basement.
Jesus Christ.
And they
Is it like a bloody mess?
no, there's not a lot of blood, man. There is a shower in the basement.
Okay.
And I imagine maybe that's where she cut him up. But there is a spot of blood on the bed.
What was the purpose of the blood? Like the murder to begin with? Like
I don't know, man.
just smoking meth and like, hey, this would be
I
fun.
think they were just fucked up. But she's also clearly profoundly mentally ill.
Yeah. Was she trying to get over? Like, was this like an item thing you said? Like they were like,
Yeah. Because she was married.
fuck.
And unfortunately, she's got a kid, too.
Yeah.
But her trial was this week, and today she was convicted on all counts.
Today she was convicted.
Yeah.
Wow. And I bet you she did it so that her husband wouldn't find out. Like, that's probably why she murdered him, right? That has to be the motive.
No, I mean, I don't think she put that much forethought into it. I think it was just something to do at the time.
You know about this lady cutting off people's heads?
Taylor Schabusiness.
Say what?
Yeah, Mike was just telling me about this lady who was having an affair and murdered the guy she was having an affair with by cutting off his head, putting it in a crock pot for his mom to find.
You don't remember
on high
talking
or
about
low? What?
You don't remember talking about this lady?
Last week?
Sometime in recent
Yeah.
past.
Yes.
Yeah, but her trial was this week, and today she was convicted.
Was she acting a fool in the trial or something, or was it just
No,
news
she
because
was
the trial
great.
was happening?
I mean, she looked very spooky during the trial, but she wasn't acting up at all. She did attack a lawyer during one of the pre-trial hearings.
That's a good time to get it out.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Pre-trial?
yeah. She did gnaw a lawyer's nose.
Her name's
off
Taylor
right before the
Schabusiness?
first-
Yeah, SCHA business.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna Taylor Schabusiness.
That was good.
Run, tell that. Thank you.
Oh, damn, she's scary.
Yeah, beautiful to me.
Look at that look. You know what she kind of looks like? She kind of looks like Kim Deal from the Pixies.
Okay, now your wiggle's moving.
Damn, dude.
now yours wiggling penis.
Why are you... Oh, my God.
But I mean, she's got a very funny husband too, who posts some very funny stuff on Facebook. But
that's her right there in that... I've seen that mugshot before. That's not her in court.
yeah,
Jeez.
lovely lady, man.
Yeah.
We got right to her ass.
God. Yeah. Okay, now I know who she is. Man, she has many faces.
It's tough, man.
Damn.
Well, I'm sure we will be reporting back on this Gilgo case as it proceeds.
Yeah, every day there's new stuff coming out. So I
assume there's going to be a lot of stuff, big stuff coming out eventually.
Do you think though that when the depravity of crimes becomes like so dense that it's reaching into local government, do you think they'll often just like nip it in the bud and just be like, all right, we're done with this?
We got one guy, he's going to be
Yeah.
a scapegoat for the whole thing. That's what I'm hoping does not happen.
That's what I'm saying with this guy. Yeah, that's I said Fall Guy in the beginning. I think they're throwing everything on him. Like this murder that you mentioned, the Gilbert.
Do you think there's potential that he's not involved at all? Or do you think...
I don't think he's in. From what it sounds like, from what you told us in so far, it sounds like he wasn't involved with this one.
What one?
And this Gilbert one,
the first one that they started
the 911 call, the scary, horrible thing.
Okay,
that
potentially
sounds,
not that one.
Yeah,
But you don't think he's innocent?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough yet.
You don't think he's... Okay. Are you suggesting that perhaps he's not involved at all?
I mean, it's very strange. I got to look at the actual facts.
You gotta see some data, some
Yeah.
hard data, probably.
Yeah, I mean,
You're a
I
hard
couldn't.
data guy. This guy loves to
as
get
a
his
juror,
data
I
hard.
could not say yes on this right now.
Okay.
Give him 4 inches of data.
I mean,
Watch
shit,
him
yeah.
bust
What
his
is the
case
evidence
open.
against him?
I need to see the evidence. The burlap. They give me the pizza crust. I just eat it.
Wait, where's the bag? You ate the plastic
Did we get
evidence
wings
bag?
too? Jake, you ate the fucking evidence.
Wait, those weren't boneless wings, Jake. Where'd you put the fucking bones?
It's stuck. It's lodged in there. Yeah.
You guys got a damn bird skeleton in his tummy.
So besides his DNA, I guess that's enough. But
that's the thing we got to clarify.
Still have not clarified how that is
I mentioned
connected.
that the wife's hair was found on some of the burlap, but then I have to find out what his connection,
pizza
his DNA
crust.
connection
Unless
is to the crime
maybe
scene.
they're third cousins. That's allowed.
Where?
I think everywhere, man.
Oh man,
Love is
cousins?
free. You should experience some. Yeah, I think you share a great grandfather. Thank you, Jeff, for using Mike's computer to look up this law.
DNA from a pizza ate matched male hair found on one of the victims.
Male hair. On one of the victims. How could there be a hair on one of the victims if all the victims were like skeletons?
Or was there hair on the pizza?
no, perhaps
Some of them were not skeletal remains. Okay.
and perhaps the hair was trapped between the victim's body and the burlap.
Okay.
He's saying some of them were partially decayed but still clothed, so I suppose.
Yeah, let's
Sucks.
digest, man, and
Yeah.
we will revisit this. So this was just something different. I wanted to do like an initial
Yeah.
run through of the information that's out there right now.
Yeah.
But I'm sure within a few months we'll have a much broader understanding of
Yeah, whatever.
the
this
entirety
was.
of this.
As always, wonderful job filling us in.
Yeah,
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more that's going to be still left to unfold.
Yeah, it's just fucked, buddy.
Yeah. We had some good times, though,
We
along
did.
the way.
We had like 8 episodes of Jake's Corner that were all fun.
They were great.
Not renewed.
Some levity in the situation, though. You did say something horrible at some point, I think. I can't remember specifically, but
Oh, I
I'm
remember.
sure you are going to get dragged through the mud for it.
Yeah, I am not going to sleep well. And I
You
am
are
not-
our Rex Heuermann. You're the scapegoat. You're going to take all this
Yeah,
shit for...
I hope so.
Yeah.
Now it's your turn to get dragged through the mud.
Now it's your turn to not
Buddy,
finish
look
your
at
pizza
me.
crust.
Look at me. I love rolling around in that mud. Come on.
Is there anything else you want to get off your chest before we go?
No. I suppose not.
Jake?
Yes, I think there is. I would like to think now is a great time to promote our show in Cleveland,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
September.
That is true.
8th.
There is something I wanted to get off my chest, and it's that I'll finally be going to that stink town known as Cleveland. Come out and see us from wherever you're from.
Cleveland is the fucking best, and we will be there on Friday night, September 8th, carrying on like special needs banshees.
Yes, we will.
We'll be doing stand-up, and then we'll be doing a together portion at the end of the show.
Yeah.
We'll be talking stinker stuff, and we'll talk
Maybe
about
something Cleveland related, perhaps.
Yeah, that would be fun,
Yeah.
too.
And then
Anything
a murder
else?
mystery at the end.
AMA, you guys want to ask questions? We have answers. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Friday night, September 8th in Cleveland. And then we're going to be boogieing back to Philadelphia
Yeah,
for a midday show the following day
can't wait.
with Chris Wood. Chris Wood's oral presentations on September 9th at Helium, Philly.
If you are in the Philadelphia area that day and want to see me at my absolute lowest, you come to that show. I will have not slept enough, and, well, I'll be doing a lot of things against my will.
Yeah, that's usually 1 hour after you wake up.
Yes. And we'll have done a show the night before, which will have me wired until well after midnight. This fucking psycho wants to get on the road at 8 in the morning. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
I
have
would
a
normally
newborn
not.
baby and I still sleep till 2 p.m.
Buddy, we got a show to make. So
I like it. I
Hell or
like
high
the
water, we will
dedication.
get
Isn't it
there.
like 12 hours or something?
it's like 8 hours.
Oh,
I want to
8
take
hours?
this time, not shotgun. I'll
Actually,
be in
no,
the back,
Jake-
curled up like a little baby.
I think it might be 6.5 hours. So
Yeah,
Cleveland.
you can do it in 6.5. I look at the Google Maps.
Yeah, right.
6 hour drive, you can cut off 45 minutes easy.
Right
People
now, if
think
we
someone
left,
would be driving like a bitch.
it would be 6 hours and 53 minutes.
Okay.
So we'll make it.
Yeah.
So we'll make it. We'll get home to our families.
Yeah.
We'll take a little snoozini for an hour or
No,
so.
We'll all go to a truck stop, shower together, save some money.
Yeah, Mike, we're not stopping.
We're gonna clean each other up.
We're not, yeah. I don't think we're going home. I think we're going right to
Let's
Helium.
just forego the hotel, drive right back,
I wanna
and then
show
spend the
up-
rest of the time that we saved in a Love's truck stop shower together,
John,
eating
I,
each other.
I want to show up to Chris Wood's show with flaming hot Cheeto dust on my fingertips. I want people to see it as I hold the microphone at Helium.
From the long drive?
Yeah.
the orange glow.
I want to have Swedish fish still stuck to my teeth.
That's what you do on a long drive. Swedish fish
I like-
and flaming hots.
I like candy. I like my chips. I like a big Slim Jim.
Cheeto dust on the
That
steering wheel.
Oscar music really sounds nice right about now.
yeah. Thanks for
No,
listening,
this is the
everybody.
part that people like, Jake.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But we are already an hour and 35.
Hour 54.
Oh my God,
God.
Mike, you've told us too much.
I'm sorry. But yeah, we'll be at Hilarities Cleveland September 8th, and then September 9th, we'll be at Helium Philly, and then September 11th, we are heading to the Middle East to celebrate. I'm going to get us there.
Plenty of time to cut out that part.
It's a 36-hour drive from Philadelphia to Saudi Arabia. I'm going to be gunning it the entire time. I got an industrial-sized vat of Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I'm going to get us there. But a lot of traveling, and yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. But thank you for a fun time, guys. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching this on Patreon, we can't thank you enough for supporting us and allowing us to do all the dumb shit that we do. We're actually putting the Patreon money to good use soon. We're going on a road trip. We're heading out to Nevada.
Yeah.
And then we're going to boogie to a few different places from there, from Skankfest.
Can't wait.
We're going to film the entire thing, so we're going to put up all the video evidence of all the stuff we get into up there for patrons first. But, yeah, if you're watching this on Patreon, thank you for becoming a patron. If you're not, go to patreon.com/Lil Stinkers. That's LILSTINKERS. And it's $4 a month, or you can just pay $40 for the year. Get early access to every episode. You'll get an extra episode each month. Live AMA each month. We did another book club meeting this month. It'll be ad-free for patrons because we're doing ads now on all of our freebie stuff. And we're doing movie watch-alongs, and we're going to continue to add more and more stuff for patrons to give you the most bang for your buck.
I'm excited.
And when we get to 2,000 patrons, we're throwing this motherfucker back in the foam pit. And he ain't coming out until we get 2,010 patrons.
Yeah, God, I am regretting the day that we do that.
You've had plenty of time to get in foam pit shape.
Yeah, that's true.
Bye,
All right.
everyone. Thank you. I love you.
We'll see you guys. Buy my book on Percs, too, if you haven't already. On
Episode's
Percs.com.
over.
See you. Bye. Guy.
There's so much fucked up shit to get into.
Real stinkers.